Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So in my previous video I talked about the basic sentence structure, and in that particular video also I said to all of you that in my upcoming videos I would talk about the identification of object, as to how to identify an object in a sentence. So accordingly I am here to discuss how to identify any object in a sentence. Okay, let's go through. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you one thing. If you haven't gone through my previous video about the sentence structure, please go through. Okay, because I have already discussed many things, many fundamental things about subject, verb and object, okay, which are very important. So okay, so without wasting time, let's start. So we have already understood that each and every sentence carries subject, verb and sometimes object and sometimes other things like adverbials. Okay, now but generally a basic sentence is supposed to be equipped with subject, verb and object. Okay, now in this video we will learn how to identify whether it is object or not. Okay, so first of all we have subject, then we have verb and then we have object. Okay, first of all we have subject, then verb, then generally we have object. Generally we have, that means sometimes we have object and sometimes we do not have object. Okay, now whether the word after verb, whether the word written here just after the verb is really object or not, that's what we are going to identify right now. Okay, that means the essence of today's video is just this, that how to identify object. Okay, whether the word written just after the verb is really object or not, that's exactly what we are going to identify. Okay, let's go through. Let me give you some examples and then we will understand. Okay, first of all, okay, first of all, he eats rice. He eats rice is very basic example. Okay, so here he means what? He is subject. We all know that he is subject, and eats is here, it is verb, because here eat means action. Okay, and the word after eat is rice. Now is rice an object or not? How will you understand? We will understand, see, just follow simple things. Okay, just follow one simple thing, that you just ask a question to the verb by either what or whom. You have to ask a question to the verb by either what or whom. Clear? You have to ask question by what or whom. If you get the answer, then for sure it is object. If you don't get the answer, that means it's not an object. Okay, let's try this. So ask a question, ask verb a question. Okay, he eats what? He eats what? Okay, let me write here. You have to ask a question by what or whom. Okay, let's try this method. He eats what? Do you get the answer? He eats what? He eats rice. Yes, it is the answer. So if we ask a question by what, we will get the answer, that is rice. He eats rice. He eats what? He eats rice. Isn't it so? That means rice here is object. Clear? That means it is object. There is no doubt. It is subject, it is verb, it is object. Okay, now let me give you one more example here. Look at here the sentence. He gave me. Again, he is subject here, gave is verb here. Then what about me? What about me? Is me here object or not? How will you know? How will you understand? Same method, ask a question. He gave what? He gave what? He gave me. No, it's not the answer. Then apply the second one. He gave whom? He gave me. Now we have got the answer, right? So that means we are also again here getting the answer by asking question with whom. Okay, that means again me here is object. Okay, so the essence of the thing is just this, that we have to ask question with either what or whom. Okay, if we get the answer, that means for sure it is object, and if we don't get the answer, that means it's not object. I hope you have understood. Now let's try another example. Number 3. Okay, so he works in the evening. Okay, so again he is here subject and works verb. All right, then what about this one? In the evening. Here we have in the evening. We have here 3 words. That means it's a phrase. Okay, phrase means what? Phrase means a group of words is referred to as phrase. Okay, now so here he is subject, works is verb. Then what about in the evening? In the evening is also put or placed just after the verb, isn't it? Then what about this one? Is it object or not? Ask question. He works what? He works evening. He works in the evening. No. Then ask again with whom? He works whom? He works in the evening. Correct? No. That means it's not, that means we haven't got the answer, right? That means for sure in the evening is not an object. Okay, understood? Let me give you one more example. Number 4. If you write here, okay, he comes here. He comes here. He is subject, comes. We all know that it comes as verb here. Then what about here? Ask question. He comes what? He comes here. No. He comes whom? He comes here. Still not got. That means here is not an object. Okay. So from these 4 examples, it is obvious, it is clear that each and every word which is put just after the verb is not object always. Some words may be object, some words may not be object. Now how to identify? How will you identify? How will you recognize whether the word put just after the verb is object or not? Just by following the simple method, that is, we have to ask question either by what or whom. If you get the answer, that means it is object for sure. If we don't get the answer, that means it's not object. I hope you have had a clear-cut idea as to how to identify object. Let me give you one more example. Let's try this one. Number 5. Now, so viewers, till now we have already understood about how to identify the object, right? Now, do you know that a sentence may carry more than one object? Do you know that? Yes, it is not always compulsory, not always obligatory that a sentence has to have, I mean the verb has to have, a verb has to have only one object. No, it's not always compulsory, obligatory. Okay, in fact a verb may carry more than one object. All right, more than one object. For example, he gave me a pen. He, subject, we know that. Gave, verb, we know that. Okay, then what about me? What about me and a pen? What about? See, you ask questions. He gave whom? He gave me. that means it is object. He gave what? He gave pen, again it is object, isn't it? That means we have here two objects. Okay, we have here two objects. The verb here carries two objects. Okay, now the first one is me, second one is a pen. Okay, now the first one is me. Here me is a living thing, is a living subject, isn't it? Me means what? A person. It's a living thing, living object. Okay, so as it is a living object, so also we can categorize it as indirect object. Okay, we can categorize it as indirect object. And then a pen is a non-living thing, then we can categorize it as direct object. Okay, direct object. So that means generally if a verb carries more than one object, generally we are supposed to have first of all indirect object and then direct object. Okay, now you can also change this equation. That means also you can exchange this direct and indirect objects, in the sense you can also put the direct object here and you can also transfer this indirect object here. Let me show you how. Okay, although the meaning will remain same, but we can sort of exchange. Okay, we can write here this way. Number 6, he gave a pen to me. Okay, so viewers, if you exchange the direct and indirect object, then you have to put to just before me here. Okay, so here he is subject, gave is verb. Now he gave a pen, then you have to put to before indirect object, that is me here. Okay, so he gave a pen to me, it is also correct, or he gave me a pen, it is also correct. Both are correct. It depends up to you as to how you are going to use it, isn't it? Okay, now let me tell you one more important thing about the verb. See, in this video we have understood about identifying object, isn't it? So we have seen that some verbs have object and some verbs may not have object, some verbs may have object, some verbs may not have object, isn't it? Now those verbs which have object are called transitive verb. Like for example, here we have two objects. Okay, maybe here we have two objects, but generally we have one object, isn't it? So doesn't matter how many objects we have, but the important thing is that if a verb, if any verb has object, then that verb is referred to as transitive verb. Okay, that verb is referred to as transitive verb. Okay, and the verb which doesn't have any object, that verb is called intransitive verb. Okay, why it is called transitive and why is it called transitive and intransitive? Simply because the verb can transit the action. The verb can pass over the action from subject to object, and that's why it is called transitive verb. And the verbs which cannot transit, which cannot pass over the action from subject to object, those verbs are called intransitive verb. Okay, so here this verb has object, isn't it? Two objects, that means it is transitive verb. Okay, and in case of that example which already I have given previously, that he walks in the evening, in that case he walks in the evening, in that case that verb doesn't have any object, that means that verb is intransitive verb. Okay, I hope I've been able to make you at least even one notch or one drop of understanding within you. Okay, so if you like the video, if you have enjoyed the video, if you have learned something out of my video, then please like it, subscribe it and share also. Thank you so much.